Hello, welcome to howtoguru.club podcasts created by Dan Grijzenhout. Hello, welcome to episode 37 of my podcast series, which I title Optimizing WordPress Page Loading Speeds Where Plugins Are Used. WordPress has long been using the strategy of incorporating third-party plugins into their design architecture for their customers. This strategy is sound in business concept as it allows WordPress users to easily and quickly create some very nice-looking websites where they can add website functionality and features, even if they do not have very good coding skills. It is, however, flawed architecturally as these plugins are enabled through the use of JavaScript callouts, which need to pull in the full plugin code for each third-party widget being used on a particular web page each time that web page is loaded. This causes two things to occur on each page load that significantly reduces the speed of page loading. First, you are not just loading the native programming logic to the web page that you build, and that resides on your server only. You are forced to call out to potentially dozens of external locations, both on your server and on third-party servers, in order to fully render your web page, which causes lag time issues and time delays in loading the page. Second, when you load the plugin, you have to load it as written by the third party, which often means that you are loading code that has a number of configurable options that you are not even using for the method in which you are trying to use the plugin. This is a lot of extra programming code being loaded with each page rendering that you don't need, and it tends to make your web page very fat, often putting the page into the 2 to 4 megabytes of code loading ranges, whereas most custom code pages are loaded at under 1 megabyte of code. The fatness of these pages also impacts negatively on the speed of the web page rendering. Google and browser manufacturers have already begun to penalize website owners for the use of JavaScript callouts on websites through certain strategies of their own. Browser manufacturers, such as Chrome and Firefox, for example, are limiting the enabling of some plugins on their platforms. Mobile devices, in most cases, simply won't run them, and Google penalizes you by not letting your site be found easily through their search engine. I tested the mobile device rejection of plugins with the draft WordPress site that I had created by trying to load the page on my cell phone. After waiting over 40 seconds for the page to load, the device just rejected the load entirely, leaving me in limbo looking at a blank screen. This is why it is recommended to limit your use of plugins and eliminate them from your site over time if you can. Move to native coding strategies on your website wherever possible. For those WordPress site owners who do not have the technical skills to remove these plugins from their websites, there are some things you can do within the framework of the plugin world to mitigate the negative effects of those you do use on your site, so that your pages will at least load more rapidly, and so you can actually create a version of your site that is viewable on mobile devices. I'm outlining these strategies down below. Certain third-party plugin providers and certain web hosters who support WordPress sites have offered for use some workaround solutions that do help the site's performance to a point, and you can get a WordPress page to render on a mobile device. To improve your site performance, these are a few things you can do. Go through all the images on your site and make their sizes as small as possible without significantly impacting the quality of viewing for the consumer. This can reduce the fatness of your page somewhat, and I have found that some of the WordPress theme providers are burdening your site with some very dense images that are also hurting your load speeds. So run them through a tool such as Adobe Photoshop and thin them down where you can. There are some plugin manufacturers out there that offer internal site plugins, which will compress components of your web pages so that they do not take as long to load. Go to the Add Plugin feature on your WordPress site and search for gzip, that's GZIP, or GZIP compression, and you will find several providers that offer compression capabilities that will help you to reduce the fatness of your web pages. Far future expiration. Find, download, and activate this plugin. When the feature is enabled, this plugin will modify your .htaccess file by inserting code, which will add expire headers to common static file types. Expiry headers specifies a time far in the future so that browsers won't try to refetch images CSS files, JavaScript, etc., and files that haven't changed. This reduces the number of HTTP callout requests and hence the performance improvement on subsequent page views. I have done this and it helps shave a second or two on your web page loading times. Next, try implementing a caching plugin for your site. I went with WP Supercache. This plugin generates static HTML files from your dynamic WordPress blog. After an HTML file is generated, your web server will serve that file instead of processing the comparatively heavier and more expensive WordPress PHP scripts. Another strategy is to distribute your site pages to servers around the globe so that people are loading your site from more local server locations than from your server, which could be thousands of miles away. To do this will require you to implement a plugin, a web hoster provider utility, and you will need to make changes to your domain.txt records, that's domain.txt records, as well, so it is a more complicated strategy to employ. Web hosters who support this will have utilities for the purpose within their dashboards. I am currently using Bluehost at present, and their utility for this, and also the name of the related plugin that I am using, is called Cloudflare. So if you have some technical depth and know how to repoint your domain records, this is another strategy that you can employ to help speed up your website rendering capabilities. Lastly, to get at least some of your web pages to render properly on mobile devices and smartphones, we require you to enable another plugin on your website built for this purpose. The recommended utility for this purpose is the WP Touch Mobile plugin. WP Touch is a mobile plugin for WordPress that automatically adds a simple and elegant mobile theme for mobile visitors to your WordPress site. Recommended by Google, it will instantly enable a mobile-friendly version of your website that passes the Google mobile test and ensures that your SEO rankings do not drop due to not having a mobile-friendly website. I have implemented and now my blog pages are rendering okay on my smartphone. The tips provided above will help you improve the performance of your WordPress site, so be sure to check them out. Bye for now. If you like the content that I'm creating, be sure to visit my website at howtoguru.club. That's HOWTOGURU.CLUB. You can also sign up to receive my hints and tips newsletters and gift downloads at howtoguru.club/signup.htm. HowToGuru.club is a free training site I've built to help people wanting to build or improve their home-based businesses. So be sure to take a look around the site and add my site to your list of favorites for future reference. New content is appearing there regularly. See you soon. Bye-bye.